morning, humanity. It's November 29th, 2021, and it's our favorite time of the week because it is Mondays with Bev and Paul. They're her eyes open
Here
wide,
we
and we're together. See,
There's nothing in between. No, okay.
it
There
looks
you are.
like it with that
Yeah,
little wall there,
it
like
does,
we're in
doesn't it?
different areas,
Yep,
but I'm over the side so
you
you can
are.
tell.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, welcome to our Monday show, biotouch.com. And my name's Paul.
And good morning. This is Beth.
And hi, Bev.
Hello, Paul. Oh, here you are right
Ooh,
there.
ooh. Bev is getting ready to move in another week or two.
2 weeks.
Yes, to the wonderful town of Tombstone.
Yeah, too tough to die. That's good news for me.
So we'll be doing a lot of live streaming. She'll be in Tombstone, and I'll be here in Tucson. And
I'm going to be confused. I'm going to
yeah,
tell you.
we're still going to be doing these shows. First of
Yeah.
all, I want to wish Happy Hanukkah or Hanukkah. We'll talk about that on my live streaming of what's the difference
Nice.
between the ch and the ha.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because you notice it's spelled ch sometimes and h other
Oh, I was
times.
wondering about that.
Aha.
Okay, I should.
Tonight, live stream with Paul Bucky and the
Okay.
gnome and the mensch and Jenny.
and all things will be revealed.
Right. It's a fun thing to do.
That
So
is
anyhow,
great.
today we're going to talk about, does BioTouch address emotions?
Oh,
It's always a good question because,
is.
we always say BioTouch addresses the body.
And we say BioTouch only addresses the body.
Right. As a
Because-
technique.
That's right.
Yes.
As a technique.
That's right. But does BioTouch address emotions? So, there's some huge research being done now about, especially in the psychological, psychiatric field, that
Oh.
we hold our emotions in our cellular memory of our bodies.
Yes. Yes. The teachings of the ancients have told us that everything starts from a thought form. That all things, that thoughts are energy, and they are out there swirling around. Well, um, we can maybe say that's important and maybe say that's not. But if you think about it in terms of emotions, if everything starts as a thought form, then what happens over certain patterns begin to form because we start thinking in the same ways. Eventually, that becomes something that is below the threshold of our awareness and it takes root. And it becomes a pattern then. And what happens is what we call an emotion is something that stimulates a reaction from us that many times we don't even are not aware of. It's just a knee jerk, right? It's like somebody says something or we see and we immediately, that's an emotion, but it's all based on a thought form. And what do we always talk about with Dr. Bruce Lipton?
Yes.
He says that in order to change the patterns that are locked in the cells of the body, these are patterns of thought forms and emotions, it takes love, a
Right.
language of love.
And here's that language.
That's what brings us to BioTouch.
And it helps unlock those thought forms to our self-awareness. There's the self-awareness
Yes.
part of it. But the key that I want to bring up is, these thought forms or these body aches or pains, these don't make us a bad person. We're not less on the chain of humanity,
Right.
which is a big part of this healing work that you hear about. Oh, just change your thought, and if you're not getting better, it's because you're holding on to some old karmic issues or old thought issues. And that's when I did BioTouch in the beginning. I tried that self-healing work and I realized I then had created a spiritual problem, an emotional problem, because obviously I wasn't loving enough, or God didn't love me, or I had
Something's wrong with you.
Yeah, there's something wrong with me
Spiritually.
because I have this physical ailment.
Yeah.
And after 30 some odd years of doing BioTouch, I really have learned let's not create another problem.
Yeah, I know, right. We're so good at that anyway,
Right.
It's interesting.
So we address the ailment that people come in with.
Right.
And we don't try to analyze it. We don't try to figure it out. We don't even ask you, oh, what are you feeling? We don't even ask people afterwards how they feel.
You know what's lovely about that? We don't have to.
Yes. We just do it. Just do it.
Just touch it.
Just touch and let the rest of the story unfold. So we want to bring up some things of how that story has unfolded over the past years by just doing BioTouch. And one of those I remember working at that drug rehab community, Amity,
Amity.
on the east part of town. And we would go there and work with these young ladies who were being brought back with their children. They'd been incarcerated, they're being brought back with their children, and we worked with the children and the parents.
Oh, okay.
They had groups 2 or 3 times a day to work on your emotional stuff and your thought forms. And I remember working with this one lady once, and she just started bawling. We're working on her shoulder, and she just started bawling and crying and crying. And all of a sudden, she shared this memory that she had been raped and that those guys that had raped her had stomped on her shoulder.
Wow.
And as we worked on that, those memories came back, and lo and behold, that pain was gone. And she was able, in her next group meeting, to discuss that. She had never talked about it with anybody. So, this whole self awareness, just from that light touch in an area that was a pain, she came to that awareness, was able to share that, was able to heal that emotion that was driving her body into conniptions.
And you know what's wonderful about BioTouch is we don't know those kinds of things that are
Right.
happening because those are locked in a cellular memory within each individual. But when we really honor the whole premise of BioTouch, which is just to be present and just to touch, then you've really created a sacred space for that body to listen and to hear, literally at the cellular level, that connection of love and let it do its job.
Right.
So, this is, and as a practitioner, we don't, in fact, we don't encourage anything other than, you just touch those points. That's all that you need to do for that person. You don't you don't need to get in the way of that unfolding, because if you had gone in there and, ooh, she's got this, and
Right.
let's try,
Analyzed
you
it,
can,
right?
yeah, overanalyze it, and then we become in the way of a natural development, that whole self-awareness that we talk about.
And what's wonderful about the presentation of BioTouch is not only was she able to become aware of her feeling, but so was I as she went through her stuff.
Yes.
I didn't have to analyze her. I didn't have to be an empath. I didn't have to, have this flash of, oh, this is why this pain is here.
Right.
But in her tears and her pain and her suffering, I was able to feel that too. And we're both healing at the same time.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's that old thing about, and people always say, well, can you get people's stuff? Can you get people's emotion? Can you get their psychic stuff? And I've always loved, again, that presentation the woman gave about, when you go to a movie and you start laughing at the movie, or you get angry at the movie, or you're crying or things like that, the movie didn't do that to you. The movie triggered in you your tears.
Right.
And
your laughter,
yes,
whatever.
And
yes.
That's the beauty of BioTouch,
Yes.
is we're allowed ourselves to trigger our own self-awareness.
So BioTouch is a witness. Can witness. Huh?
There you go, folks. You've heard it here first.
BioTouch lets us, I love that word
Yes.
witness, because it just means that we are present and just observing.
Right.
Not part of the whole, or like you say, over analyzing or wondering, or did I this or did I not this. Just witnessing another human being's journey.
Yeah, journey.
Of
That's
opening and changing. And that's the other thing about this emotional thing. When that self-awareness takes place, then we are able to make different choices, which changes the old pattern
Right. And
in
we
our
see
lives.
that all the time. People come in here, and that you're working with them and they go, oh, should I leave my job, or should I leave my spouse? It's like all this stuff, the awarenesses start coming.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful to say, I don't know, what do you want to do? And just keep working on people and
Yeah.
watch their story start unfolding and their choices change. And, even to the point of eating habits. I
Oh,
remember this couple came in once, and uh, this woman was talking about how her husband, she couldn't keep bananas in the house. And her husband was eating bananas as soon as she brought him into the house. And the funny thing was, he hated bananas.
well, that's what he used to hate.
Yeah, but here his
Definitely.
body was telling him banana, potassium, or whatever was in there. Maybe he liked the
Wow.
squishy feeling of it. I don't know, but he started eating bananas even without him having to change.
Yeah.
And another woman we had that was a chocoholic. She would sweat thinking about chocolate at her home, whether she had enough.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and she was very obese, very overweight. And through doing BioTouch, her craving went away. She never worried about that any longer. She actually lost, I think it was 150, 175 pounds in the first year of doing BioTouch
Wow.
without consciously having a conflict of having to change her dietary
So
habits.
maybe it helps us ourselves, the recipients, to get out of our own way, to
Right.
get out of the way of the body's ability to. It's almost like, oh, now that I've got this tool called BioTouch, I know what to do. You just calm down, shut, and get out of the way, and be part of that process.
Right. Yes.
And don't get in the way of it. Don't overanalyze it. Don't go crazy. Yeah.
And that's so freeing.
Yeah.
You find it being very freeing, and there's nothing finer than stopping to try to change, improve, and transform ourselves.
Oh boy.
There's nothing finer than
No,
just
that's what it's all
seeing
about, isn't it?
ourselves in action, not trying to change that. Because trying to change just creates more conflict, more tension,
More
more stress.
stress. It must be true.
Oh yeah, look out. So I also wanted to share. I remember this one young fellow coming in and he says, "Oh, my heart is so closed. Can you open my heart chakra?" You
How
know,
cute.
how cute, right? And I said to him, I said, well, sort of pretended, oh, heart chakra, what's that?
Right.
I said, I don't know that kind of chocolate. So, but I said, I'm not sure we can do anything for your heart chakra, but we can certainly work on the heart set.
Yes.
And
Yes.
if that's related to the chakra system and the energetic system and the emotional system and the this body and the that body and the psychic and astral body, I mean, you can get in this philosophical intellectual stuff till you're blue in the face.
All right.
And for most of us in society, probably 99.9% of us, it's their theories. They're things we read about, we're intrigued by it because it shows, there is something more than this body. And we've all had some kind of an experience in life. We have a class, the paranormal
I was just
class.
thinking about
Yeah.
that. Yes.
And people share things that they experience in their life they've never shared with
I
anybody
know.
else.
It's amazing.
Because, oh, I might be crazy. But, we've all had those experiences that sort of say, there's something more than the body.
Yeah.
So let each person have that experience on their own.
That is exactly what I'm always thinking. That's what's beautiful about BioTouch. Nobody has to mess with anybody's anything. BioTouch just lets us all just have it. I always think of it as a custom made technique. It addresses you.
Yes.
And all you need for that to begin is a partner on the other side doing the touching. That's all that is uh, that's needed, and then that whole process can begin because the body again is is the leader in this. It is the one that's holding everything. You know, it's everything's locked in that body, and it's the body itself. Once it receives the biotouch, it's so intelligent. It knows what needs to be addressed. Although we say, well, I've done that set and that set, and the eyes get better.
Right.
We don't even do. So right there, you know, the body is,
It's all
it knows
connected.
what it needs. Yeah.
So we encourage you to just live in the awareness that you're an angel. You know, you are loved and you have the ability to love and to reach out and touch someone. And then whatever tool, you know, whatever perception you want to use, whoever you need to go to, it could be, you know, the Bible, it could be a tarot reading. You know, use whatever tool comes to you, but add something like BioTouch, which doesn't require all those things, and yet the body can begin to make changes without the conflict. And
Hmm.
we're here to teach you how to do BioTouch. All you have to do is go to justtouch.com. If you're listening to this on a podcast, we're going to share with you how to do the ear set. And all you have to do is follow the words. And we have a little manual that teaches you how to do it. The words are written there, there's pictures, there's videos, there's numerous ways to learn these simple points. So let's share with you how to do the ear set.
The ear set may be used for any conditions affecting the ears, including problems with balance and equilibrium. Step 1. On one side of the head, hold at X, which is just in front of the flap at the opening of the ear. On the opposite side of the head, touch points 1 and 2. Point 1 is at the indentation in the bone behind the ear, about 1/3 of the way down from the top of the ear. Adjust the fingers to be snug against the skull. Point 2 is a small indentation at the bottom of the ear directly behind the jawbone. Again, adjust the fingers so they are snug against the ear. Now find hold point X on the other side of the head, and in crossfire touch point 1, the indentation in the bone behind the ear, about 1/3 of the way down from the top of the ear. Then touch point 2, the small indentation at the bottom of the ear directly behind the jawbone. Finally, for step 2, in matching fire, touch points 1 and 1, 2 and 2, X and X.
There you go.
Mother daughter.
Mother daughter. I'm telling you, every time I look at these little videos, I get more and more excited about how easy it is, how it brings the family together. You know, if you want to work with your, we hear of all these children, ADHD, ADD, whatever, you know, autism, you know, all these emotional situations, you know, trauma in the household, trauma from, you know, having to stay home from the pandemic, trauma in school, bullying going on.
Yeah.
Nothing finer than a simple greeting and maybe A&A of the headset. Just, you don't have to analyze it, and you'll see if people will unfold their story with you. They'll talk about it. You know, people want to share it. They just need a safe space.
Right.
BioTouch creates
That's,
a safe space.
That's what it does.
In the ability to witness.
Mm-hmm.
Like that word, there it is. Yeah. We have a health condition workshop coming up on the 9th. We're going to talk about diabetes with Dr. Lindsay Parsons. We're looking forward to that. She's with highdeserthealthcoaching.com. I think she's here locally in Tucson, but nowadays we've learned to go virtually everywhere. Yeah. And our next virtual training is Saturday, December 11th. But if you're interested in a live class with one of our instructors, Eileen Webster, she's running that here at the Tucson Center, December 4th and 5th. You can go to our website and get a link to her site, and she's coming to do that class live.
Oh,
2-day class for that one.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, she's really excited about sharing BioTouch. Yeah. And we're excited. And we're excited that Bev was able to sit real close today, feel the body heat. Yep. And we can feel your heat even across the waves. So keep on practicing BioTouch. And until next week, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everybody.
If pain has got you down and you live in town, take a trip down to Pima Street. The people down there are people who care. They will get you back on your feet. Put love into action. Put love into action. If you ever want to have any real satisfaction, choose love while you still can. Don't even try to understand. A healing grace in your own hands. Put love into action.